All right, so the goal here is to go through the weekly submissions provided by the teams and prepare them for evaluation. And the evaluation will be done by the coaches. And the coaches will have to receive some sort of, a neat summary, and so that's the challenge. Now, the actual question or questions look very nice and clean. In fact, if we click on the survey, and if we go to the preview, you will see that it's very clean. Yeah. So for example, let's say you choose the company called Sakona, for example. You click on next, and it has only a few questions here. So, and they're pretty much every week are the same. So initial report on the stakeholders. So basically now, unlike the last semester where each week it was a different question, now each week they submit all the questions. But the challenge here, or the trick here, is that in week one, they only provide like very, very initial ideas. Then week two, they select the best idea from the initial pool, and it's just one word more or less. And that's what they will be doing this week. Then next week, they will give us that one decision, maybe with a few words of explanation, or maybe with a few words of kind of some sort of support. Then next week, it will be a few more words of support, and then more and more and more. Eventually, they have like a complete draft, and then finally the final report. And so here, you will see the same list of questions each time, and they're pretty much the same questions for all of the companies, with the only exception is that for Sierra has a different set of questions. But just to review, so for example, this week, so initial survey, they kind of do like a survey of the industry. And then SWOT analysis, so what are the strengths and weaknesses of your clients, and then most promising markets, and then optimal entry mode. And then initial list of potential, distributors and retailers, and then optimal shipping and logistics if applicable, optimal price.
So last semester they used to do every week.
Yeah. So last semester each of these would have been 1 week,
Okay.
but last time we would expect a good sizable answer for one chapter every week.
Okay.
Now we ask all the answers for all the questions, but first week literally like one word per question. Next week it's like like one sentence,
Okay.
then one paragraph, then more and more, and so they kind of still do a little every week, but you see the whole thing just being built up instead of seeing one fully complete thing, the next complete thing, and so on. So price structure, promotion, and stuff like that. So they kind of put it here. And as I said, it's a very simple stuff, all the way to have you tried to get the contract for the company, and if so, how did it go? And so it's basically the same type of look if you go to any company. So I think it's pretty much identical, with the exception of for Sierra, at least in the early track, because they have a somewhat different list of questions. It's not that different in terms of the look; it's just different questions. So it gets messy once we download the data. And so this is where it is. So as you will see, the data are, let me actually do this so we get rid of, why is it slow with this file? Maybe a good idea. Do you want to maybe go and close yours? Something's telling me that there may be some sort of a conflicting copy here. So whoever's watching now, we have the same file opened on two computers, and it seems like Qualtrics is trying to synchronize them, and that slows down the process. So we don't really care about these earlier files, but that's where it gets interesting. So from what company have you selected all the way to the research. So I'll highlight this section here. And so we can go either from the text or from the data. The only better or reason we might want to go from the data file, text file, is because there we will have the company name instead of the number, right? So it may be more convenient. So we have from Plastic Revolution, all these guys, all the way to this. And so as you see on this page, again, we have a number of names that didn't display, and so we'll just do like this. So we'll copy it, highlight, and in this section we'll remove all of the equal signs, and we'll replace them with nothing. And so that will remove those formula looking. Yeah. Okay. So, but that's basically all we need here. And in fact, we can even now create a new file, and that's where we'll put all those data. So that's what we need. And we also need the team number. So we can maybe put as values only. And we need the team number, and the team number is somewhere at the end right here, right? So we can put this as first. And so in a perfect world, that's where we would have stopped. We would freeze the panes so that we have team and then company and then all the other answers. But the challenge here is there are several challenges. One, when we let's save it F12, save in weekly deliverables, and that's 6. It doesn't really matter what it means. Let's see if I need to take it. Well, yes, Lisa. Can I maybe stop by in a few minutes and we'll take a look together? Yeah. I'm in another meeting right now with the student, but we should be done in a few minutes. I'll stop by. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So let's sort it all by data, sort by team, and it's probably better to sort first by company, and then by team within that company, right? And so here we have all the 4CR submissions, and then we have so on and so on. One of the challenges here clearly is that we have 5 people who submitted the answers, right? And we don't really know which one to use. We don't need all 5. Or for example, 2 from team 16, then another 5 from team 28, another 5 or 6 from 33. And so the first challenge is, how do we select only 1 from each team? And so the best way to do it is clean it up a little and then select the longest answer. And so let's do it together. So first, let's separate it into separate files. So what I will do is from this file, I will copy and paste the evaluation rubrics. So this way we will have that part, it's always the same. So evaluation rubrics. So that's the same. And this one is basically raw data. Maybe let's keep it just so in case there is an error, we always know where to go. Then we have our companies, and so I'll add this here. So I know that we have VSA, then we have Unflag, we have PRI, and then we have 4CR. So we know that 4CR is different, so we can remove these guys from here right away, put them here like that, and so we can just go to this and delete everything else. Okay. So 4CR is pretty much separate. Now let's take a look at these guys. So what do we have? Survey of stakeholders. So let's call it stakeholders. I think we spell it with stake like this.
And there are no submissions, like there are no.
Right, that's the thing. So for some teams, we will not have that because apparently for 4CR it was not necessary. So that's why yeah. So then SWOT. And by the way, the list of questions is always the same, so we can almost copy them from here. But let's do so. Then market. We kind of remember them. Oops, market. And for you don't really need to to read those questions as long as you know. So entry mode. It will be the same list of questions each time. So yeah, distributors, shipping or logistics, price, price structure. In fact, from now on, you can just copy this row because it will be the same list of questions.
The stakeholder.
Oh yeah, I put stake as stake. Put it first correctly, and then yes, you're smarter than me with that respect. Marketing, then design, then competitors. Oh, and that's already 40 years, so that's where we had competitors. Just like this. So 40 asks for the list of competitors, then clients, then projects, then
Important from you.
well, some of it, yes, but I know the question, so I'm just writing here, but
Because I was wondering, I
yeah.
couldn't find few.
for 4CR, yeah, 4CR would be the same thing.
Okay.
So markets, yeah. Then staffing, and then real life or test, and then real life test details. And that's pretty much it, right? I think that should be. One more thing that I do here, and you might want to do it as well, I replace all the missing values with a dot so that I see right away where we have the data and where we don't. So because when the text data in Excel, when you work with the text data, they kind of extend to all the empty cells, and it's not immediately visible where we have what we have. Okay, so now.
So we do it only for raw data, not all sheets. Only.
Well, let's do it for raw data just because we need to do it for everyone, so it may be more efficient to do it once here. Now, so as you see, we have multiple submissions from each team, right? So the question is, how do you know which one to leave? And so that's where I add this function length. And so the function is len, length. And so all I do is this like length, and it gives you the complete length of the submission. And then I just highlight the whole thing. And when I put it, let's see, did I do it wrong? Oh, it wouldn't work with multiple cells. What I do is you do concatenate. Yeah, you can even put it all in one. So concatenate the whole thing, and then length like this. It doesn't like it. Concatenate. Does it not allow me to do this? Concatenate requires. But there was a function. Is that a function? No. All right. Concatenate, it seems like I thought there was one, so I think you need to separate them by comma then. But it was allowing me to. Yeah, so you concatenated the whole thing, and then right in this same formula, you can just add length and like this, and it should give us, yeah, so 1,000 symbols and so on and so on and so on, right? Now when we have that, we sorted one more time. So we sorted by company, by team, but add one more level, and that level will be the length from the longest to the shortest. So it's important that we switch it. And see what we get here. So like for team 4, we have 5 submissions.
So company, then team, and then length.
Yeah. And so for this list, we have a list of submissions with the longest one going first. And they seem pretty much identical, so it seems like it's extra, like a few commas maybe. But for example, for team 4, it's clearly, like one person submitted the whole thing, another one didn't say anything. For team 16, about the same. For team 28, the first one is actually noticeably longer. And I'm not sure if that's because the person was, I don't know, but it seems to be the better one. And so what we'll do is we will do one more time. Let's call it, did I call it there? So I don't know. Let's keep it as it is for now. But so what we'll do is we'll basically create a pivot table. Not a pivot table. We will do all the teams. So we'll do, in fact, we can copy the whole header. And so, and then I'll go with team number, team 1, team 2, and so on. We know that we have 107 teams, but I'll just copy that. And see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to do VLOOKUP by the team number from this cell. And so I'm going to copy it, from 1 all the way to 20. So starting with 2 and so on. And so what it does, it basically looks for the same data, but it takes the first time it sees the team number. So when we get to team 4, it will copy only from team, let me copy the whole value here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We don't need that. So let's
So
do.
basically, it's picking this first value.
Yeah, let's do quality control. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's the first time I didn't make a mistake here. And then we just copy down. Now, so for example, team 4 here, as you remember, so this was the longest submission. So let's I don't know, like I'll put for country like many access. Let's see if it's gonna do the same thing here. Yeah. So it copies only from that person who did, the full thing. So if I change it back to Uganda, it changes it back to Uganda. So in our case, that would be, let's call it 1 submission per team, 1 per team. So that's our file that we can now work with. In fact, for Sierra, I should have not copied that because we don't really need it until this one. So raw data, we can pretty much delete now. We don't need it anymore. This one we probably want to save as values so that we don't deal with lots of...
For time being, you keep this file. You just keep this file for time being.
Okay, all right. So I'll keep the raw data. But yeah, 1 per team, that's what we need. Now let's do it. Let's sort it one more time. This time again by company, then by team. And so now, as you see, we have 1 submission per team. Everything's clean and nice. And so let's go and do the for Sierra right here. And so I delete everything else. We just keep the for Sierra one. And so, yeah, we didn't have the teams, further down. So these are all the submissions for Sierra. That's basically all we need. So that's, they didn't do stakeholder analysis and SWOT. In fact, we can even delete it. And so entry mode and all of those were not applicable. We can delete them. But yeah, and that's what we need. The only thing that we will add here is, as I said, in each case, we want to add those 2 yellow columns. That's where the coaches will record the answers. We'll just add them like this. And finally, one more thing that we want to do is maybe make it a little wider and wrap text. And one more thing that we will do, wrap text, and go here, put it all the way to the top and to the left. So this way all the data are in top right.
So both of them?
Yeah, top left corner, so it's more readable. So for Sierra is basically ready for evaluation then.
Okay.
So, and then let's do a couple more, and then, in fact, we can very quickly finish all the rest. So 1 per team for Sierra is there. So then we will do, just go and delete. So we have, so these are non-existent teams. So then we will just.
Which were those teams? Or
I just copied numbers too many. We have 107 teams. I copied like first 200 numbers. And so it was trying to look for them and said, team like that doesn't exist. And yes, it doesn't. So now let's do VSA. Again, I'll freeze right away and delete everything that is not VSA. So basically all the way up until here. So now we have this. And since this block corresponds to for Sierra, it's empty. So we can just delete it. And yeah, so and then just add those two columns. That's where they will record the data. You can leave it as it is, but it's probably better, as I said, to switch it to wider columns because not all of the coaches may know what to do with it, but we can do it a little later. So let's go back here, again, copy, and now we'll do.
So those are the merge data.
Yeah, so that's already all done. So the only thing that we need to do is make columns wider and wrap text so that, yeah. So now let's do the same thing for unplug. What did I do wrong? Copy, unplug. So same thing, freeze so that it's easy to see right away what team we'll work with, and delete everything until unplug, and it's only like 5 teams. Oops, instead of deleting, and so, and do this. And then we will do the same thing again for PRI. Freeze. RCR. Oop. Plastic Revolution is here. Delete it. And I think I skipped Sakona for some reason, so I'll just add them here. Again, we don't need anything other than Sakona. Delete. Freeze. Delete. So this is pretty much done. So the only thing that we'll do is go one by one, and as I said, make them a little wider, and format cells, wrap text. Oh, and then as before, top left corner. And then on black, same thing. Top right. In this section, okay, we can delete them. For CR block, did I do that for ESA? Yeah. Unplug, and then wider wrap text. Oh, and I forgot about this column here. Corner, we can edit now. All right. Of course, he already has it. So unplug, ready. So column, delete this. Make it a little wider. Wrap text. Change to top left. I'm not sure if you noticed, I save like the data after each step, just because once you have this large table with text, it tends to crash. So it's always safer to save every 3 minutes, basically doing it, like automatically without thinking about it. So, but this way, if something goes wrong, and it will go wrong from time to time, you don't lose any data. All right, so that's pretty much it. So all done. And then just send me an email saying that it's ready, and I will forward it to Tim.
Okay.
In fact, probably I will even ask you to forward it to Tim directly.
Okay.
I'll do it this time, but next time I'll give you the contacts and copy you
So
this.
you most probably want a Sunday night or Monday morning.
Yes, so, and one of the reasons, so we want it as soon as possible, and one of the reasons it may be even a good idea to do it Sunday night, is because by that time, at least some of the team members have submitted their work.
Okay.
And since we don't need all of the submissions, we just need one per team, so we can save some time, like basically one day, and send it out earlier. And so this way, but again, if you feel like you have nothing better to do on a Sunday night, do it Sunday night. Otherwise, Monday morning is perfectly fine.
So, and what is the deadline for students to submit it?
Midnight on Sunday.
Okay.
So they are submitting it on Sunday. Some may still submit on Monday, but by Sunday, like 9 p.m. or so, 90% are in.
So if the Sunday midnight is the deadline, then
Yeah.
before deadline you want me to download and submit it?
Well, see what works best for you. So, Monday morning is probably perfectly fine and maybe even preferred. But at the same time, if you think that you can do it earlier, or like your
Because,
Monday morning will be busy
I
with something
could
else.
see on call trick that there will be more number of progress.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, let's wait until Monday. Then one
Okay.
day will not save us, but who
Mhm.
knows? Maybe the team's still working on that. So we want to, like Monday morning, that's when we do it. And then once done, send it to Tim
Okay.
as an attachment, and that's pretty much it. So, but yep, that's done.
Thank you.